Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Above Asking with your hosts, Ali with the Home Investors team and
Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. I shout out my brokerage. I don't know why Ali refuses to do that, but I'm proud to work for Remax Realtron Realty Inc.
It's not that I'm not proud, but this is about promoting myself and not necessarily the brokerage.
Well, I'm a team player, Ali.
Well, you know what? Maybe I should leave the team. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not.
No, the brokerage is great. I'm always about kind of promoting myself.
For sure, no.
I was Remax. I don't know if everyone knows the difference between Realtron and all of the other brokerages.
Yeah.
We are the top brokerage among Remaxes, I think.
In the GTA, right?
At least in the 905s in York region.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily speak for Durham and all the other places, or Ajax, which is in Durham, or Peel region, Mississauga, and all of the other cities out there. But most of North York and York.
Well, even if we're not first in like the entirety of the GTA or certain spots, we're definitely in the top three in most
cases. We are.
No,
that's because of myself, really, and you. We're the top two brokers and agents at the office, so
exactly.
They got to give us credit. That's why I just shut myself out. And
the interesting thing is, though, a lot of people do not understand the differences between like Remax Hallmark, Remax Realtron. Like that's a question again.
Why are you spitting out the competitor's name, bro? Come on.
No, I mean it's not. I do
give them a
shout
out.
Hallmark, Premier, whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm kidding.
They don't know the difference. They think it's all one thing, right? They think, it's like Remax is Remax. They don't understand that it's like basically. Envision if it was a company in fast food like McDonald's. Basically, the equivalent would be like if there was a McDonald's like East, if there was like a McDonald's Southwest or some shit like that, where it's basically it's the franchise, and all these are independently owned brokerages.
They are independently owned, but I think that's not I don't know if that's an accurate comparison, because whether you go to McDonald's in Richmond Hill or downtown Toronto, the product's supposed to be the same. That's the whole point.
In that sense, it's not different.
Our brokerages are not necessarily the same. We're under the same brand, but we do operate,
for sure.
And our training is different. There's a lot of things that are different between brokerage to brokerage, which McDonald's it shouldn't be. At least that's their whole concept is that you get the same service, and the same quality.
Not in the sense of the service, because in terms of brokerages, it really does differ which brokerage you work for, because a lot of brokerages, bigger ones, have like ours have like a great amount of access towards a lot of pre-construction projects, and they just have basically their web is wider, right?
No,
whereas
for sure.
Other smaller brokerages, even if they have the Remax name in front of it, they don't. I was just trying to convey how it's all Remaxes, but yet they're all different. Like, basically, I'm saying, imagine if you were going to McDonald's in like North York, and you weren't going to. It was not just named McDonald's. It was like McDonald's Delicious, or it was just like a different
Delicious.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's not the best analogy, but anyways, I thought for today we could talk about our ideal homes, because obviously
before we get into that, I just want to touch on the brokerage and choosing a brokerage again. One other thing that some people don't realize is the connections that you can make within a brokerage. And that's one of the reasons why I joined Realtron as well, is because there's some heavy brokers out there, some really top performing agents within our office. And offices, there's about 7 or 8 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when we call around, we call our colleagues and say, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Yeah. We can get access to properties that are not yet on MLS, but they're going to be coming.
Or they're exclusive.
Yeah. So we can get access to some of these properties that you wouldn't otherwise see. And sometimes we do the deals before it even comes to MLS. Yeah. And so just having connections and access to that network of agents, especially in the 905 area, where we do, like York region, where we do, where we are quite strong. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a valuable asset
for sure
to have. So just wanted to kind of comment on that. But there's many other reasons to join a brokerage. I mean, I think we can touch on that and maybe make that a subject that we can talk about in a future episode.
For sure. No, that once again, that was just a simple analogy, but
no, fair enough.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I thought maybe we can talk about our ideal homes, because ultimately, at the end of the day, what we do is we are in the business of helping people find homes and helping people with homes to sell their homes, right? Thus, I think it would be good for us to share our own opinions about what we like, because so much of our daily jobs is telling people, well, for your criteria, you should like this and that. Mm-hmm. Or to a seller, if you want this at this timeline to sell it for this price, then you should be okay with this offer. Or once that seller sells it, looking to buy with you, once again, you are going based on their wants and needs. Because our job isn't to buy people houses that we like. Our jobs is to give our suggestions, obviously, and our feedback on their options. If they ask us, or sometimes even if they don't ask us, I have to say, hey, I don't think this would be good in terms of the location. You have to understand this property might not be the most efficient in terms of energy usage.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we go based on what our clients' desires, wants, and needs, and what their general taste is in the property, right? So we don't have a lot of space for us to talk about what I don't even know what your ideal home is. I've never had this conversation with you. If you had all the money in the world, what type of house you would buy? Would you like a bungalow? Would you like a 2-story? Would you like a pool, or would you rather have?
I absolutely want a pool.
No, sure. Obviously,
absolutely.
Certain amount of luxuries everyone wants, but I'm saying, like, what kind of layout would you want? Like, would you want wood finishing? Would you want hardwood? Would you want laminate? What would you want? What would you want? Marble floors? All this stuff. I don't even know about you. Right? I know a lot of stuff about you.
I don't even know about myself. Yeah. I mean, that's a hard question to ask, because if you're saying that I have an unlimited budget, my God, I would go apeshit, for lack of a better word. I would literally I would go crazy building out a home that would have everything and anything. And I think, Drake right now, he's got one of the nicest homes, most beautiful homes in the Bridle Path. Yeah. And it's very well known, and everyone knows he spent a lot of money. Like, I've driven by the house. It's beautiful. The one thing that he's done that some people are not aware of is if you drive around the neighborhood, you'll see everyone has the same size fence. And that's because the bylaws don't allow the fence to be higher than, I think, like 6 feet. But he got special permission. He went to the city and said, listen, because of my status, there's going to be a lot of people driving by, and I need to increase the privacy.
So how high are his fences?
His fences, I think, it's not just, they have metal picket fences.
Yeah.
So you can see right through the fence and into the person's yard. But he's got, not only does he have the metal pickets, but he's got big brick, like, in between that the metal pickets kind of tie into those. And there's like maybe 5 of them on one side and like another 5 on the other side. But what he did in order to maintain the look and feel of the neighborhood, because people don't want to just look at brick and tall fences, is that he surrounded his property with like 20-foot, I don't know what kind of trees they are, but like 20-foot beautiful trees. And so in order to give the neighbors also, to beautify his property, so they're just not looking at brick and fence. They're looking at nice, mature, beautiful greenery.
For sure.
And so that's like just one thing, but that's one thing from the outside. There's plenty of pictures on Instagram or elsewhere on Google that you can find. He's also done a music video in his own home, so he's certainly not shy about showing the interior of his property. But I think Drake's house, as beautiful as it is, it's too glitz and glamour, I find.
Let me just set the rules for a second.
Sure.
Obviously,
there's rules to this. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. Obviously, this conversation could quickly delve into like, I want a 20-foot pool, or you would then say, I want a 40-feet pool.
Right. Let's just leave it at pool.
Yeah. My point is like more so in like the aesthetic of it.
Right.
Would you like a twirling staircase, or would you like your staircases to be straight and like very perpendicular to one another? Would you You get what I'm saying? More of the aesthetic of it, not like the size and...
which is what I was going to get to. The size, like, I mean, I would go Drake size.
Size does matter. Size does matter.
That's what she said.
No, I mean, certain things, size does matter. As long as you're above average. That's all that matters.
What's average?
I don't know. We're talking about countertops, aren't we? I thought we're talking about countertops.
That's a hard surface.
Yeah, it's a hard surface. Anyways, go ahead.
Way out of hand. What I was going to say is... I like, for me, like I said, that's too glitz and glamorous and everything. I like a simple home. I like something a bit more contemporary where less is more. I don't like black and white and crazy towels on the floor. I would
explain a bit more. What do you mean black and white?
So I think in one of his living spaces, he's got I don't know if it's Mosadeq or not, but I remember seeing like black and white tile marble floors. So I'm okay with the marble, but I would choose just like a white marble with maybe like gray veins or something like that. Keep it simple, right? He's got these huge, extravagant light fixtures.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Where it's like white marble, but it's like almost like black blobs.
Yes,
right? Or
exactly.
Like smudge marks, almost. Right. Yeah.
So it's just, I think for my taste, it's too intense. I like something that's just a lot more contemporary. You have simple colors, and in terms of the staircase, I like floating staircases with maybe either metal pickets or glass. I love glass.
So that's another thing where
my house would be like all glass.
Because where my girlfriend lives right now, she lives around the Eglinton West area, and that area is very interesting because you have basically very low income housing. I guess it's not interesting because this is a common thing with a lot of cities where low income housing is next to like very large, glamorous, luxurious housing.
Right.
I think it's fair to say that maybe that's more common in the United States, but here in Canada, Toronto, that's not that common. Where, from my understanding, I don't know if you agree with this, you don't have a lot of areas where low income housing is right next to larger $2 million and above houses.
It's hard to say because my sister lives in a place along the Danforth, and she lives in a really nice home, but across the street apparently is low income housing. Like it's a government property, and I had no idea, neither did she. And so months and months after that she moved in, that she found out from the neighbors that's part of low-income housing provided by the government. So if that's what you mean by low-income housing, or it's just a lower economic status type of home, but it's still privately owned. It's not government owned.
Lower economic status, privately owned, or there are apartments where you rent and you can't own in that. You know what I'm saying? But
I think that's starting to become more common though, because buying land, especially infill land in the city, is becoming very expensive.
For sure.
And so they're buying older properties, tearing them down, and building, all of those areas.
They're building at less. They're building more condos than apartments.
Yeah, but you're talking about houses. You're not talking about apartments. You said
I'm just saying housing, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're speaking.
My point is though, obviously, I assume your sister is doing well in life, but I'm saying this area where my girlfriend lives is very upper end. Homes there, right?
Upper end homes.
Yeah.
You said okay.
So my point is though, the reason I brought this up is there's this one house where every time I go to her place and we walk around her area, whatever,
Right.
There's this one house that I swear to God looks like an iPad. It really does. There's no one. There isn't a spot of concrete on the outside. There's no brick. There's nothing. Right. It's just all glass.
Right.
So that's like the extreme. You were talking about glass, right? So that's the extreme end of it.
Yeah.
And I actually like it a bit. I wouldn't know if I would ever live there, but I like it as like a object to see when you're walking.
So what did you do in terms of privacy?
Well, they have like
blinds everywhere.
Huge blinds that almost look like a second layer of the glass.
Right, but would you still be able to see the people walking and doing things? Like you can see their silhouettes and everything.
So
that I don't like. Like if I'm when I'm talking about like glass,
silhouettes if they put the blinds on, but there are parts of the glass that are more opaque than the other parts.
Okay.
So they would typically be brick for privacy. It's still glass, but it's opaque glass, right? Whereas other spots, it's just transparent as hell. Like you just need blinds.
Right.
But I see that's more of the modern type. That's a little more extreme. Other houses that are more modern, they incorporate a lot of glass and windows, but they make wood. They have that
wood
like,
or some brick.
They
Yeah,
have that like
that's
Scandinavian wood finishing where it's just smooth, like dark. I don't know my woods, but like a dark oak, I would say, with like a lot of glass. So that's more modern. Then you have. I'm just setting it out. I'll let you speak in a second. Then you have. Well, you say the other types of houses. Like you have the more typical upper end houses that specifically a lot of Persian people and a lot of Italian people like.
Yeah, that's not my taste.
A lot of concrete, a lot of brick.
And there's like stucco exterior and a lot of stonework moldings and this and that.
It's typically very white, gray.
In my opinion, that's dated. Like you can go to. I'm starting to see in Willowdale. Mm-hmm. There's East and West, I guess. Not C. What's Willowdale East? That's C7, right? Yeah.
C14.
That's C14?
Isn't it?
C7 is where? Is that Willowdale West?
C7 is between Bathurst and Finch. C14 is between... C7 is between Bathurst and Yonge. C14 is between Yonge and Bayview.
Yeah, so okay. So C14.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
You said C7.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, so I flipped them. So in C14, you will find a lot of those older, and I think there's just a flood of a lot of like Persians that went into that area. Where there's a lot of brickwork, there's that stucco type of finish and a lot of molding, and you walk inside and you have, crown molding and crazy kinds of crown molding. You have all of these, what are they called? I don't know. I forget. Columns. That's it. With once again, like molding on the columns and all of that stuff. That's not my taste. I don't like that. There's a lot of those in that area. I've noticed on the other side, C7, there's now a few modern homes where there's that wood exterior finish with a little bit of brick, but there's a lot of glass also. Mm-hmm. And like when you look at it, you would imagine it's probably an architect or an engineer that built that home. Sure. That's kind of the direction I would go in. Yeah. The kind of finishes, and
I'm assuming a lot of these houses have flat tops. They don't have the typical shingles that. Yeah.
I'm really lost for words right now. I don't know why I'm losing the words.
Because you work so hard all day. You come home drained.
We have those days though. There's some days you're just God, I'm glad I'm home. But yeah, that's kind of if you were to walk down that area, you'll find a lot more of those homes even down in Toronto or in the Danforth area where they're doing a lot of more modern build. That's because they're appealing more to the younger generation. Mid 30s to mid 40s and early 50s will go towards that.
You'd be surprised though, not as much as you think you would. Like I guess I'm saying from my own experience, I
guess maybe culturally they're more down that way.
But so okay, let's talk about us.
Whereas
then. Like
Persians are up this way and they look like a certain kind of house.
Let's talk about us.
What do you live in?
Let's talk about us then. Personally, which exterior would you start with? Like, would you start with the... And another exterior we're going to talk about is the red brick. The red brick used to be a thing in the 60s, 70s.
No red.
Yeah, the red brick, no one builds with red brick anymore.
No.
Or maybe they have a little garnishes here and there of red brick, but... So, which exterior would you start with for your ideal home?
I would go with like glass, wood, and like
how dark of wood are we talking? Are we talking about like what you have in your cabinets here, like really light white wood?
No, like a darker, almost like
like really
like a black almost.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a little too dark.
Because the way I picture it is, I would have.
You don't want a little red in there in the wood? Like...
No, I don't care for red. Red I can put on my clothing and.
No, but like it's a little too dark if you're talking.
Like that's what I like though. Like I like just a sleek looking building.
But like, it looks like wood, right? Like it has the wood finish.
And I would have like that dark brick if I was to use brick, like black brick, or like a very dark brown, just a bit off of black. Mm-hmm. But I would even use black wood, and then black windows, and perhaps
your house is gonna get hot in the summer.
Well, I would have 3 different air conditioning systems, 1 for each floor.
Yeah.
How about that? Now what?
Okay, and then what about your driveway? What kind of finishing in the driveway? I want a smooth finishing because even like in the higher end homes nowadays, they have these like little cobblestone-ish type of stuff.
No,
I'm a very active person. I don't know if you know, but I play basketball, and I want my kids.
I didn't notice.
I want my kids. I want my kids to play basketball. So personally speaking, from my perspective,
you put that in your front driveway.
I want to
put
put
a backyard is for.
I want to put cobblestone.
Go put a basketball court in your backyard.
No, but like all the basketball nets are in the front, you know, in the driveway.
What kind of house are you living in?
A good house.
What's good? Are we talking about Drake size or like Willowdale size?
We're talking, I would say,
even in Willowdale in the backyards, in some of them you can fit a basketball court.
Yeah, but I don't want my okay. This is getting into a deeper conversation, but I don't want my kid to like go to. I don't want him to be an outcast because of his wealth, because I'm going to be wealthy. But I don't want him to be... I don't want
he's going to be rolling with other wealthy kids. What's the problem?
I feel like if I just like put it in the back, it's just too... Like, let him like be in the front yard. And,
but
like,
what neighborhood are you living in? What neighborhood are you living in?
Well, right now...
Are you living in Bridle Path?
No, I'm not.
Where are you living then?
I don't know. Like, anywhere... I don't... Honestly, even in terms of neighborhood, I don't have strong opinions right now. My point is the type of house I want. And the type of house I would want a kind of driveway where people can do activities in front of the driveway.
Right,
I
get
cobblestone.
That,
I don't want...
The type of house you're going to build, it also depends on the area. You're not going to build a 30,000 square foot mansion like you would get in the Bridle Path.
I'm not talking about
in Willowdale. Or even in like up in Richmond Hill, right?
Wait, you're saying there are no mansions in Richmond?
No, there are, but certain parts of Richmond Hill, you got to go to certain South Richville. There's, absolutely, in that area, yes. Yeah. But you're not going to have that in Crosby or Westbrook or Baby Hill, for example. There's a few actual areas in Baby Hill you would also be able to put in a basketball court. Yeah. In any event, which part of the city? Because I'm picturing like Bridle Path kind of large types of properties where even if you wanted to put a basketball court in a front driveway, for other people, there's no other kids on the street.
I would want a house
trading stocks.
That right now, I would want a house that in today's market right now, right, would go for maybe ideally like anywhere from 2.5 to 3.1. That's the kind of range I'm thinking of. And where would that be? Well, I can find something. Well, for instance, a $2.5 million home downtown Toronto versus $2.5 million Richmond Hill, significantly different.
So that's what I'm saying. What location? What area? Because that's going to matter in terms of the lot size you're going to get.
If I were to buy my ideal home today, I would most likely buy... That's a good question. Like, there's so many options.
You're like a buyer that can't make up their decision.
No, I can't.
Like what's your criteria? Well, I want a 5,000 square foot home on a 50-foot lot because I don't want to, in front of the lake, mow the lawn in front of the lake.
How can I do that? Yeah. But no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I haven't. There are many areas like I wouldn't mind.
So top 3.
Okay, I'm thinking. Give me a second. I forgot the name of the neighborhood. It's between Dundas. It's Dundas West and College West. Between those two, it's basically between not College. Sorry, Dundas West and Queen West. Dundas and Bathurst and Queen and Bathurst. What is it called? Trinity Bellwoods.
Oh, okay, Trinity. Yeah, right.
A lot of good properties there, but 2.5 to 3 gets me a very narrow lot.
You're getting a 30-foot lot if you're lucky.
There are some like 35, but yeah, it's still 30 foot. But my point is though, at that point I'm going for a different. Well, here's the thing: with any option in terms of location, you have to weigh the options, right? If I can get a very good, sleek, modern property that is smaller downtown, but I get more for my money, even if it's smaller, if you get what I'm saying in terms of life experience and the neighborhood and the what's close, property taxes, everything, right? In terms of how much it's gonna how much it's gonna appreciate. That's also another factor.
So essentially, you're saying you'd rather live downtown. That's your first.
No. But I'm saying if I can get a smaller home downtown versus a bigger home uptown, at that point I have to weigh the options, right? I have to see, okay, size to me is not that important. More so, what resale value is important, lifestyle is important, happiness, all that.
Right.
So I'm saying there's a lot of different options. Like I can go for something small that has something that something big doesn't, or I can go for something big that has something that the small thing doesn't. So that's why I'm saying the Trinity Bellwoods. There's also Richmond Hill. I would be okay with, believe it or not, a newer property in North Richfield. Newer property in North Richfield, I would be okay with that. Okay. It gets you much more for $3 million there than
South Richfield.
Well, no, than downtown. Yeah. But this is
but once again, the question is, what's your ideal home? So, like, I mean, all of those makes absolutely right, but it doesn't answer the question of what your ideal home is and where you want to live. Like, I mean, if I'm saying I have an infinite purse, money is not an object. If I was a billionaire, I'd go live in a bridle path.
Even if money was not an object for me, I would not have like a ridiculous house. Even if I can afford like a $15.
Say that now.
Huh? I say that now. That's true.
When you can put a basketball court in your backyard, a pool, and everything else that you ever wanted, a theater, et cetera, bowling alley and whatnot, you'd probably go to Bridle Path.
But that's why I started this conversation. With saying like at some point we could be like, you be like, my ideal home has like 2 theaters. I'll be like, well, my ideal home has 3 arenas for concerts. Right. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the aesthetics of it.
In that case,
or like, the layout.
Listen, if we're working with a budget of like 3 to 4 million or 2.5 or whatever, there's a few other places I would live in Toronto, but not all the way downtown. I actually don't even like living downtown.
Have you ever lived downtown?
No, I haven't. I have friends that live downtown, and I go downtown. I used to go quite often.
Do they live in condos, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. And for me, it was just like, oh, for the love of God. The traffic,
what don't you like about
congestion, all of that stuff drove me nuts. If you're a cyclist, don't hate me, but you also drove me nuts.
Okay.
So, it's just that I drive, and I want it to be a bit more driver friendly. And I get it, CO2 emissions and all of that and blah, blah, blah.
We've had arguments in the past about the streetcar. You hate the streetcar.
I absolutely hate streetcars.
I like the streetcar.
No, take it underground.
Do you understand if the streetcar goes underground, I think that's going to affect property value?
It would increase it.
I think it will be a negative for the city if they.
How do you figure?
Listen, this is the future. We could have a
streetcar. Take it underground. Expand
we can have a streetcar debate.
Subway underground.
We can have a streetcar debate.
Like New York. There's no streetcars in New York.
Yes, but there's so much more history. All right, have you seen New York?
So build a damn history. It's about time. Every time we want to expand the subway line or something, it's about, environmental factors. We got to do this study. We got to do that study, blah, 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 blah. 10 years later, nothing happens. It's now that they're finally saying, okay, you know what? Let's actually do something. And that's when you had the Shepherd extension. Now they did the Eglinton. They're doing the other end of Eglinton. So enough talking. Like the talking and the studies and all of that, it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo, because in 50 years, nobody's going to look back at that. They're going to look forward. And we need to build up for the next 50 to 100 years. I understand Toronto compared to New York is very young, but like we're not going anywhere. It's not like we're going to die there's no point of building this subway.
Let me just calm you down.
We need to build it for I'm passionate about
I'm saying we can have a streetcar debate in a future episode. For sure.
All right.
This is
fine.
not the time.
Let's get back to. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Well, it's okay.
That'll happen from time to time.
You're wrong. It's fine. You're wrong. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
I let it slide.
Fine. You're wrong.
Okay.
But anyways,
I'm right.
So let's get to this though. Obviously, you would want a office in your home, right?
Yeah.
So this is a good question. I want to ask: where would your office be? In your house. Let's say you're working with 2 stories.
It really depends on what level my business is at that point, and if I want people to come to the office.
But you got to think about it. It's not even just an office. Floor. You go to work. It's just you get away with people. Go there to read, maybe. Go for like a little sleep, or go there to just be.
I'd probably put it somewhere towards the back of the house so I can just look into the backyard.
Oh, so you wouldn't want it to be close. So you would want to have a window that would access the backyard.
Yeah, so I can just look into the backyard and enjoy the nature and the peace and the quiet. It's either on the ground floor or somewhere on the second floor. It doesn't really matter. A lot of offices, the way they're set up, they're putting it in front of the house.
Because if you have, it kind of makes sense, because if you have people coming to your home office a lot, right?
Right.
You don't want them to walk upstairs past your laundry room,
right,
and all that.
Well, that's why I said it depends on like if I want people to come to my home office, or it's just a home office for me to do my work, and there's nobody coming into there unless they're within the home, like kids, wife, and all of that
it's
stuff.
More of the second one.
Nobody's bothering me. Like I'm not having clients come in.
Maybe you'll have like a client here and there, but not a lot. Like
ground floor towards the back, and there's gonna be walkways around the house. So if somebody needs to come, then they can walk up to the back of the house, and maybe have a door for them to come in. But towards the back, because once again, I want to just look into the backyard. If there's a pool there, just enjoy the green space. Yeah, I don't want it in front of the house.
I'm kind of the opposite of you. Okay. I do want it in front of the house, but I don't want it next to the front door. Does that make sense? Because a lot of these newer properties, the office is in front of the house as well as next to the front door.
Yeah.
So you walk in, it's either right to the right, to the left, or you're actually looking at the office as soon as you walk into the property. The office is the first thing you see, and then the staircase going up to the main floor.
My parents' old home wasn't like that. You'd walk in, you have the living room to the right, and then the staircase would go up, and then the actual office was opposite the dining room.
Really?
Yeah. And the dining room was closed off. Like there was a wall there.
Yeah.
But it was like, here's the dining room, and just on the other side of the hall, there was a hallway in between that went to the family room to the back, and then there was the office. So the office is actually right next to the family room on the other side of that wall.
So would you want a kitchen with that leads directly to the backyard, or would you want your living room to lead directly to the backyard? Because nowadays, with a lot of open concept,
living or family room. Living, I consider like formal living room. That's for entertaining. Family room, yes, to the backyard, not the living room.
But not the kitchen? Because a lot of kitchens nowadays too, well, obviously there's a lot of variety in the market, but some kitchens obviously lead to the backyard. It
depends on the layout. Like, I mean, if the family room and the breakfast room and all of that stuff, and the kitchen is all kind of tied in together at the back of the house.
I'm assuming you like open concept, right?
That's then one or two, either from the living room, the family room, or the kitchen, you would have access to the backyard. So as long as there's a door from back there, doesn't really matter to me whether it's from the kitchen or the family room or the breakfast. Like, I mean, once again, kind of referencing back to my parents' old home, you had the kitchen on, let's say, the far right.
Yep.
And then that opened up into the breakfast area, which was like a half circle. And then on the other side was the family room. And there was nice big windows all across. But then the breakfast area, which was, like I said, was kind of like oval shaped, that opened up into the backyard.
So now that I think about it, why did we build closed concept, if that's a term? Like, why was that a thing?
I think they separated everything.
Why?
Well, it depends on the property type. Like, keep in mind, a lot of homes back then were bigger. It really, I think the whole open concept is a new style and all of that, but I think it really served the purpose of making the space feel a lot bigger than perhaps it actually is. And I'm seeing that in townhouses.
It is logically bigger. It's not, if you have the same lot, the same square footage, but one's closed, one's open,
right? But
that open is bigger.
For sure, absolutely. So if you have a 3,200 square foot house that's all closed off, versus 3,200 that's open concept, obviously the 3,200 that's open concept is bigger.
Because you have more maneuvering space.
Exactly. Yeah. But the one thing I think has to do with the engineering. So then they were laying bricks, and that's how they were able to support the second story. So the engineering and the architecture of the property, how to stabilize it, how to keep it up and keep it from crashing and crumbling down. And B, I think now, if you walk into a lot of these new stacked townhomes or the 3-story townhomes, they're tiny, right?
Yeah,
compare them to townhomes that 10, 15 years ago. Like, I have a client that lives in a townhouse that's about 20 years old. It's over 2,000 square feet. Go find me a new townhouse that's 2,000 square feet. Unless it's like a luxury townhome. I'm not talking about luxury. Like a standard like townhome, 2,000 square feet. Good luck. They're building 1,200-1,300 square foot homes, but they're all open concept, and it just makes them look like they're bigger when they're actually not.
Yeah.
So it allows them to, make things a lot more dense. You have 3-story townhomes that are really in total maybe 1,400 square feet, but they're building up. It's 3 stories in each floor, except for like the living room upstairs, the bedrooms upstairs. When you go upstairs to the bedrooms, you'll actually realize how small that floor plan is. But then when you go downstairs into the kitchen and living room, because it's all open, it just feels like, whoa, this is a big open space.
Yeah.
So it's all about density.
That's a good point. So let's get into another. I have a hot take, which is I like carpets, but only in the basement. Now, what do you think about that? Because a lot of people despise carpets. And
yes.
And I grew up in a carpeted basement, and in the winter, especially in Canada, it has just a warm and cozy feeling in it,
Yes, but you're living in like the 1980s, bro.
What do you mean?
It's called heated floors.
Nice
hardwood floors are laminates with heated floors down below. You step on it. Oh,
listen, it's not just
beautiful.
the literal.
It's beautiful.
It's not just the literal warmth. It's also like the
comfort, because you used to lay on the carpet, watch TV.
Sit on the carpet with your kid, play. Your kid, if you have a little youngling, you can just, yeah. If you have a little kid crawling on 4s, like a baby, what do you think is better, carpet or hardwood or marble?
Hardwood, toughen them up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Toughen them up.
I'm just saying, like, obviously I would never want carpet in my bedrooms or my main floor.
You know what? At one point, I actually like carpet in bedrooms because I have a problem where my feet get cold. They get cold. They get really cold, especially when I'm sleeping. So I wake up and I put my feet down on wood.
Why? Why is that? Have you gone to a doctor?
Poor blood circulation. I think.
No!
Yeah. So I never mind about my sleeping habits.
Has poor blood circulation ever affected you in other ways?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm just asking.
In every other way, I'm fine.
Right.
Thank you for asking that question.
All right. Anyways.
Dude, you threw me off my train of thought.
No, you were saying about your feet getting cold.
I'm not the only one that has this problem.
No, you said you at some point you like carpets because your feet.
You get up. When you wake up in the morning, you put your feet down instead of like a cold hard surface.
So wait, you're talking about hardening babies up. Now you're complaining as a grown man.
Their blood circulation is fine. When you get older, when you get to my age, things start to fall apart.
What changed though? Why don't you like carpets now?
Cleanliness. They're just. It takes a lot to clean them. They get dirty. And God knows what kind of bacteria is just
that is a good
around.
It's very, very hard to clean carpets. Right. God forbid you spill wine or
you're
food.
Done. Yeah. And the amount of lickings I got from spilling something on carpet, it's left me with scars.
For sure.
So I prefer hardwood or laminate or whatever. I don't tiles in the kitchen perhaps, but I'm not a fan of tiles once again unless they're heated. Like heated floors, that's gold. But otherwise, I don't like tiles because they get too cold. They do. When my dad renovated his old home, he put in marble tiles that were like almost an inch thick. They were almost 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
And they were super beautiful, like a nice white. But my God, they were cold.
Yeah.
I'd wear 3 pairs of socks.
Wow.
And my feet get cold. So anyways, we're talking about carpets. You said you love carpets in the basement.
Yeah, only in the basement though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has a warm and cozy feel that I think retro homes got right. Whereas
retro homes. What's your favorite color carpet? Broadloom, we should say. Broadloom or laid.
just white, or creamy colored or whatever. It doesn't matter. But okay, so to close this off about our ideal homes, you never answered your own question. Where would your ideal home be?
So there's a few places. I grew up in Richmond Hill, so I like Richmond Hill. I now would probably move to South Richville if I had the budget for it. But other than that, there was I even like Royal Orchard. They have older homes there. They're 56 years old, but they have a lot of character. Richmond, is it? That's Markham.
Yeah.
It's just on the other side of Yonge Street, but it's they have a lot of older. They're beautiful homes. They have character
for sure.
Right. I like that area as well. But if I was to live in Toronto, like Lawrence Park, Lytton Park, around that area, Hogs Hollow, drive through Hogs Hollow, and that's the area just south of the 401 on Yonge. It's on the east side of Yonge, just south of the 401. If you drive through that area, my goodness, it's beautiful.
So no downtown, not too east, not too west.
I like going up and down the 404. I would ideally live between the 404 and the 400 is the furthest west I would go, 400 Western Road. The furthest east is literally the 404. Yeah. I wouldn't go too far into Markham.
What about north? How far north?
North.
You said Richmond Hill. I guess that's the furthest north.
Yeah, I would like to stay in Richmond Hill. There is King is beautiful as well. If you wanted those
King
big
is very very
lots.
Beautiful. Yeah, but it just depends where you work too.
Yeah. But
that's another thing. I don't want to
down
waste
in that
a lot of my time
midtown Toronto. I wouldn't go downtown.
Midtown? What do you consider midtown?
Well, like I said, Eglinton, Lawrence, in that area. Okay. Between York Mills or
what do you think about St. Clair area? That's pretty good too.
St. Clair West?
No, just St. Clair. Yeah, just I guess west. But I'm saying I'm more so thinking about central, Yonge and St. Clair area.
I would go as far down to St. Clair depending on the street and the area, but not too
more
far.
More so west, you're right. More so closer to Dufferin and Bathurst.
I would more like Yonge. I wouldn't go. Bathurst would be the furthest I would go. I wouldn't want to go further west than Bathurst. Along any of those streets, like Lawrence, Eglinton, York Mills, Bathurst would be the furthest west I would go in that area. I'd rather stick along Yonge Street, and then or go a little bit east towards Bayview.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So that's us talking about our ideal homes. I think the two conclusions we can take away from this is that carpets are awesome and streetcars are great for the city. Anyways, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the YouTube. I'm assuming by the time we release this, we probably haven't put it up on iTunes. Hopefully we'll do that soon as well. Ali's contact information, as always, is in the description. So is my contact information. And provide some feedback in the comments if you have any feedback, good or bad. Subscribe.
Click the notifications.
Exactly.
Follow us on Instagram.
That's it, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you all.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.